Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Pro 632 show with Jason Matura, Chris Nelson, and today we have special guests Craig Liberty and Micke. Kicking it off with Craig Liberty. Welcome to the show, Mr. Liberty. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How's everyone doing out there?
We are great.
Good.
So, Mr. Liberty, go ahead and tell us about the Liberty Transmission, your company and organization, and all that good stuff, sir.
All right. Well, I'm Craig Liberty, second generation here at Liberty's Gears. Our actual formal name's Liberty's High Performance Products Incorporated. And we're known more as Liberty's Gears. It's basically started out with my dad racing back in the 60s, running an old Ford top loader in a 34 Ford that just simply wouldn't shift. And he learned how to make it shift. He was a tool and die maker at Cadillac, and I'm sure some of our first components were probably made on Cadillac's dime. I don't doubt that at all. You know how it was back then. He got away with, in fact, still today, you might get away with some of that stuff at the Big Three. But so he made his Ford top loader shift, and in a way people thought he had an automatic in the car. So that was our very first stuff. In fact, our logo today is still this Liberty's Gears logo, the ring around the outside of it. That is our original pro ring that started the company. From that point, a lot of people asked him to update transmissions and make their shift like his, and he decided to leave Cadillac and start Liberty's Gears. Later on, decided there must be a better way to do this. Let's make a clutchless transmission. So this was a clutch-assisted version. He made a clutchless transmission, and that's what got us to our dual countershaft transmission. Ultimately, it started out as a Chrysler 833 transmission, and which is a Chrysler Hemi box. And not a real Monday mornings were kind of hell in here. A lot of breakage over the weekend. So he came up with the dual countershaft design, and that's what started it back early 70s. From there, we just worked on perfecting our dual countershaft trans. I'm fortunate enough to have my daughter, Nicole. Some of you, or a lot of you may know, she's going to be third generation taking over the company eventually. It's a little ways down the road. So we hope. Who knows? It could be tonight on my way home. You never know. But I hope we'll be
like that.
Yeah, you never know.
That's key, right? Making sure the next generations are ready to take on your legacy and this amazing transmission that you got, sir.
Yep. That is definitely key. I'm fortunate enough to have a third generation interested. I've got two daughters. One of them decided to go into the medical field, and the other one decided to follow my dad's and my footsteps. And she went to U of M for mechanical engineering, and she's the technical engineer around here. Me, I'm street smarts, and that's about it. She's got the degree to back it up.
So she has a degree to run the CNC machine and make it look pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what happened to Chris on this, but he did have some talking notes and questions. So one of the questions was he wanted to talk
I'll give me a second here.
Ratio and streaming. Hey, you know what? He just popped back in, so let's bring him back online.
All right.
There you are, Chris.
Yeah, so
Chris, you're back.
I love the story about the family-owned business. That's really awesome, and it sounds like your daughter's now third generation in the business. Let's talk a little bit about the performance of your transmission outside of just strictly gear ratio selection, and having 400.
It's gonna keep doing that with him.
Sorry, I guess he's having some more technical difficulties. So we'll keep on going with it, and apologize for some of these comments are in the chat are kind of nasty. We're going to keep those up. I'm not sure what's going on with these bots in the world causing issues. But one of the questions was, let's talk about performance outside of gear ratio selections and multiple gears. What are your thoughts on that, sir?
As far as, gear ratios are the biggest advantage we really have. Outside of that, we're a gear-to-gear transmission. So we're just pretty simple. You got horsepower in, multiply the torque by gear ratio, and it goes out the back of the transmission. That's pretty simple as far as my functionality. You've got a choice of putting a clutch in front of it or a torque converter. Torque converter for 632 seems to be the power flow of choice. So that brings a whole new dynamic that really, as much as it is our transmission behind it, there's a lot to the torque converter, the tuning there. So we get to help with ratios, but and that's about the biggest advantage we have over, say, Turbo 400. But everybody knows that we have hundreds of ratios. Turbo 400
Yeah.
has as many, but outside of that, it's just a gear-to-gear transmission where they're a fluid drive, and that's it. Just a different way of skinning a cat.
So I looked at your gear chart today, and excuse my ignorance, you had like a list of gear ratios, but there was a thing called, is it saying this right? Gearhead
Headsets.
headsets. Now, when you look at that, what's the difference between the headsets?
Headsets are just different tooth counts. So you have an input gear, power comes in the input shaft, transfers over to the cluster gear, what we call the drivers of the cluster. Then when you select a gear, whatever gear you pick, first, second, third, whatever you want, the horsepower now goes from that cluster shaft back to the main shaft and out the back of the trans. Both of those, the headset input to headset generates a ratio. Then the cluster back to the speed gear generates another ratio. Those two ratios multiply together to give you your final output ratio. So you can change just the headset, and it gets you, you move first, second, and in a 4-speed, you would move first, second, and third gear up or down, all three of them the same percentage. Or you can change just first gear, leave your second and third how they are. Again, we're talking in a 4-speed and a 3-speed. If you change the headset, you're only changing first and second gear.
Gotcha. It was, when I looked at it, it was pretty intricate. When I was looking at the chart today, I was like, good Lord, I'd be lost in this thing. I need help.
It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, Turbo 400, we got, you buy a planetary set and that's it. That's what we got is what we got.
We play with stators, and that's all.
Stators. Mm-hmm. Lots of stators.
Yes, sir.
So we do feel from a mechanical standpoint and an efficiency standpoint, we have a very, very efficient transmission. Way back, Bob Glidden just kind of reversing numbers, felt that we were 99.9% efficient, where he felt his Lenko, I think, was 97.8 or something like that. So he did feel we were about 2% more efficient than a Lenko. Again, we're not talking Lenko here, but still, that was Bob Glidden way back in the day. That's when Pro Stock first changed over. It was actually before they changed over to the Liberties. About 5 years before they changed over, we went down testing with him down in Texas. I think I was late teens at the time. That goes back a little ways.
Right. So let's talk about the parasitic loss that your transmission actually has less of, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Parasitic loss, we have virtually zero, just because of the fact that, like, if you were at, say, PRI, you had a chance to just take one of my transmissions. They're wide open. You can look, everything inside of them is turning. You can spin the input and it just coasts down to 4 RPM, but it takes a while for it to coast down. That's just because it just simply has very little loss. The reason for it is you have a counter shaft on each side of the main shaft. So it's what we call a dual counter shaft transmission. It's a very efficient way to generate horsepower. The main shaft gear cannot actually separate from a cluster because you have the other cluster keeping it right on the center of the main shaft. The odd part a lot of people don't realize is our main shaft gears have about 30 thousandths clearance to the main shaft with no needle bearings, no bushings. They're literally floating on air because they want to be between the two cluster shafts. And as long as that wants to stay in there, you have pretty much zero friction.
When I was a kid, I used to rebuild Road Ranger transmissions in the big trucks, 10 speeds. And when I was at PRI, like you said, all the transmissions were open, and I look at that and I'm like, that gives me a headache when I look in there, because that's what I remember, right? These big bulky transmissions as I worked on as a kid, but it basically works almost on the same principle. Obviously, in the Road Rangers, we didn't have no reason to change gear ratios inside of it, but they spun very, very freely like yours does.
Yep.
Now, how does I know you don't know the exact weight of it, but what do you think the weight difference is between a Liberty and a 400?
The problem I have is we build the transmission. I know what the transmissions weigh. That I have data on. What I don't know actually is what a drive weighs. I've lifted them in and out of cars plenty of times, so I can guesstimate what a drive weighs. And the converter, actually, Mark can tell you in a little while what the converter weighs. But a converter is going to be a constant, so that one really doesn't matter. The bell housing is going to be roughly a constant. That one really doesn't matter. Our transmission in, say, a 3-speed version, you're right around 92 pounds. But the drive unit is what pushes it over the weight of a Turbo 400. So, I mean, I've got people that tell me that somebody just flashed up that a Turbo 400's, 60 pounds heavier. We've got a drive unit that's got to be 65 to 70 pounds. So I cannot imagine a Turbo 400 being heavier than a Liberty. I get people that tell me it is all the time, but I can't imagine factoring in the drive and the Liberty as a pair, because that's what you really need to compare it to. I cannot imagine a Liberty being lighter.
So we talked performance gains by application. Talk us through the misconceptions of your transmission.
Well, the misconceptions is the voodoo that it brings to the table. I don't quite know what the whole black magic or voodoo is all about. It's a very simple mechanical component. It simply generates torque for you. That's it. To me, I'm a mechanical engineer, just self-taught mechanical engineer. The fluid control, the fluid manipulation of an automatic, to me is voodoo, because it's just it's not normal for me. I'm not a fluids guy. And so to me, the mechanical transmission is very simple for me. It's very basic, and I understand it. How somebody thinks it's black magic or voodoo, I don't know. Maybe because when you put it in compared to, say, if you were running an old M4 speed, you put a Liberty 5-speed in, you can pick up a half a second. You're not going to do that from today's 400s. Today's 400s, Mark has done a terrific job with today's 400s. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for him for what he's managed to put through those power wise, and they hold up pretty good for what he's got to play with. I do feel our transmission's stronger, but like I say, he's done a very good job with his Turbo 400s. And
so say someone's
you were here to I guess just be on this, but for whatever reason, we're going to do it at 2 separate segments. I don't believe he and I would really butt heads much. Like I say, I have a tremendous amount of respect for him.
I don't think it's about button heads, sir. It's more of, we only have so much space within the screen, and, want to get one side versus the other side for the conversation piece.
Okay.
We can keep you on, and we bring you on at the end, so we can all have a conversation as we continue on. Any closing thoughts, sir? Chris, do you have any more? If you stay on.
No, I want to extend the thank you for the support of the category and all you've done to kind of in your company and its 3 generations to kind of push drag racing forward. I'm all for progress. I think you guys have really made your mark on the progress of drag racing. So thank you.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate the support we have from the racers. PDR has been very good for us. 632, there's definitely more automatics than Liberties, but that's fine. We're working on stealing some of those away if we can.
Try to make some believers.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for your time. If anybody has questions for Craig towards the end of the show, we'll pop them up. If he has time still, we'll ask him to answer those questions. But right now, we're going to bring on Mr. Mark Micke.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark.
You're muted.
Mark's muted?
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry, hit the wrong button. So, what's up, guys? So,
Mark, give us a little background on the history of
do what now? I'm sorry, I didn't pick up on that, Chris. So,
give us a little history on M&M transmissions and where you started versus we all know where you are today.
You know what? We started actually. We're going to be 30 years this year. Started in '96. Just just me and one of my main guys, Troy, still with me, been with me 30 years, kind of started the shop and then, just evolved it, passion for racing. We worked on everyday cars, kind of turned it in, kind of grew the business into what it is today, mainly most of the business is built on passion. We were very passionate about drag racing. That's in it, at this point, that's all we know. That's we live, breathe, everything we do is about drag racing. So like I said, as far as where we're at now. I guess most guys know we're not to sound arrogant or brag, but we're pretty known around the business. Good reputation. We take a lot of pride in everything we do.
So obviously, one of your first projects with the Turbo 400 was to make it durable, and obviously that's been checked off the list. What have you guys done recently from a performance aspect? And in our category, 632, is there some benefits of some lightweight components in your trans?
Yeah, so we've worked a lot lately. Lightweight, low drag. Everything in racing is accelerating, going faster and faster now. So really our biggest thing we've worked on lately, we've always been good with fluid control, especially as far as the torque converter fluid control is. We've really stepped that game up this year. In fact, we've got some new products we did release. We're kind of holding on to a couple things right now until we get the patent work done and some stuff like that done. But we've got some really cool stuff coming in the next 3 to 4 months, which will pretty much, our goal is to, we're racers. We don't lose. We don't lose in business. We don't want to lose on the racetrack. The main goal is to dominate everything we can dominate. So that's kind of our mindset right now. There's some good competition out there. We like competition because it just pushes us so hard that we want to destroy the competition. So yeah, we've got some really trick stuff coming. Some really new, like I said, this year, if you notice a lot of our pro mod stuff, we focused a lot on pro mod this year because that'll help trickle down to the other stuff, because the pro mod guys, love them or hate them, they got the budgets to fund a lot of the stuff that we do. So, and then, like I said, some of the lower classes can benefit from that. So yeah, on the 632 stuff, it's been kind of stale right now. There's just not a lot of it going right now. So, 4 or 5 years ago when the class was strong and rolling, we were pumping a lot of money into it. Obviously, that the history of what we were doing. So yeah, it'd be cool if they could get the class to make a turn and get, head back up. Because we definitely went along for the ride on that. So
yeah, and that's what our objective is with the show, and why we'd like to have you on. We had Craig at Liberty on a little bit ago.
Craig's a good guy, great company. So
talking some of the technical aspects of his product. You guys both have been very strong supporters of the class, and we want to let you guys showcase what you're doing a little bit for us. As far as we've talked in the past, as we've been working our way through updating combinations. Let's say a guy's sitting here looking at coming into 632, and maybe he's got a Power Glide and a Top Sportsman car. What should he expect to see gains from going to, say, a 3-speed 400 coming into a 632 category if he made that transition?
Yeah, I mean, like if he's coming in from a basic run of the mill Top Sportsman Power Glide into one of our a specific Outlaw 632 program. We've got, I guess there's different levels depending on the experience and the budgets, but if a guy's got the budget and the experience, I would say our full out 3-speed program is probably 400 to 500s over a basic Power Glide setup. And that there again, it all depends on the tuner and the crew and how they're, there's a lot of, as you've worked with these things, we can get very, very technical and very, very, lots of gadgets, lots of stuff on them. And as long as you're willing to work with that, we can obviously pick them up quite a bit. So
are you talking through the, excuse me, Chris, are you talking about the fluid manipulation?
Yeah. Fluid manipulation. Yeah, we do a lot. So, our big thing is, and in any of this stuff is, we're working with a torque converter and it's all fluid driven. So, to be able to master the control of that, has proven, that's been our strong point. And then it's not just unique to the Turbo 400. It can be done on some of the drive stuff. I just don't think it's been done. we've got a really big deal coming for the drive stuff coming. I'm telling you, it's going to be a game changer for the drive stuff. So, but yeah. So I mean,
it almost sounds like there might be
do what?
Almost sounds like there might be a opportunity for Mark, Mickey, Craig Liberty complementing each other's products there.
Yeah, I think it's in the works. So yeah, it's been going for a while. You know, our big thing is we don't R&D through customers, so everything we do is very planned and very slow how we bring out products. So, but yeah, you know, but yeah, we're not done. Put it that way. So
you spoke earlier about budget. If a guy was looking at run one of your transmissions in a 632 car, what could he expect to get out of it for an average life expectancy outside of having anything catastrophic happen that affected the transmission?
So if everything's right and, you know, barring normal race car crap, you know, can happen, anything can fail. But most of our guys, we put them on a season. You know, like if you buy one of an Outlaw 632 specific program for us, we just recommend you send it back over the winter because there's always updates, you know, update them, that type. But normally the 632 cars, they don't, how do I put it? The parts are kind of on vacation in those cars right now. So even our lightweight stuff. So yeah, I would say an average, a 200 run deal, which is probably more than a season for most guys. So
yeah, about 2.
Yeah.
About 2 seasons for us.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, and everybody's different. We try and do that back in the winter because they're always like this racing game is constantly evolving. So the product we have out today is better than the product we had out yesterday. You know, I mean, so it's constantly evolving. So I tell my guys, if you want to run up front, you need to send the stuff back because there's going to be a change that we've done or we've figured out. So.
Okay. I mean, I was just looking at some of your.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, as we study the rule package, and there's some weight break tiers in there for 2-speed, 3-speed, and things of that nature. So you're circling back to what you said earlier. You think between the Power Glide and that's pretty well worked out in a 400 that of the same capacity. There's 400 to 500 some performance gains to be had.
Yeah, I do. I believe that. No, we've proven that. You know, now I'm not going to say it's going to hold true in every circumstance, but overall, yeah. So, yeah, I mean the power, you know, the 2-speed or any 2-speed Power Glide or 2-speed 400, they need, you know, they definitely need a weight break if a guy's going to run that. And in my estimation, you need to have that in there because we got to figure out how to attract guys to come into this class without having to spend the budgets that the top tier teams are right now. You know, I mean, you mean talk, you know, I think that's what hurts the class. The class is too fast. It's too expensive. I mean, you can go run a competitive Pro 275 combo for what you'd spend to run Outlaw 632 right now if you're starting from scratch. So, and I think you've seen a lot of your guys have moved on to the other classes because of that, in my opinion. So,
well, we also base it off like a stepping stone class, right? Like my car, when I had Clayton build my car, it was eventually I was going to end in pro nitrous, and then turn to the economy and in the world of boating, you know, it's not feasible. I can do it, but I can't do it and have fun. I'm gonna do it and be stressed, right? So no need to go there. So I stay at 632. You know,
that's what it should. It's a great class for that. That's what the class should be for. So
you know, and nowadays, you know, without the cost of the transmission, you know, Patrick's building a new motor, and that's, you know, for 632, it's $85,000. You know what I mean?
I know, it's crazy.
Buy a good 959. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
you know, I mean,
I see it. You know, it is, and I've been fortunate. You know, we've been fortunate to have good customers, and we've evolved with. You know, we were in this class at the beginning, kind of at 15. When was it, Chris? 15 years ago, probably.
15 years
or
ago.
10. Yeah, I remember. You know, going to Orlando, we had 50, 60 cars showing up, and we've just watched it progress. And that's just it's followed the normal Outlaw or heads up class deal. They get faster and faster and faster, and the budgets get higher and higher and higher, and car counts get lower, lower and lower. You know, I mean, that's just normal. That's heads up racing, unfortunately. So,
yeah, it probably needs 10 to 15,000 a year minimum just for upgrades to keep in the top 5.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
That's about what
Yeah.
you're spending, you know. And if you got a guy that's sitting home and he hasn't, I had this conversation with somebody over the last week. I said, you haven't raced in 10 years. But because, you know, you don't want to join a class. It's too much money to this and that. And I said, if you would have taken that money that we'll just call it 10 grand for 10 years, you should have $100,000 sitting somewhere to upgrade your car.
Right.
Right. So you can come back out.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend that kind of money because that's what it costs. I mean, you know, I changed the camshaft and I went from being a top 5 car to I finished 8th in points. I never made it past first round unless the guy in the other lane broke on in the second round because of this camshaft change. But
I got you.
Like we always talk about it, we got to put the time in. You know, got to put the time into it.
Well, you're right. We always call it in our business. I've done this long. It's called suffering from improvement. So, you know,
that's a good
sometimes
one.
That's just the way it works, man. I've been that guy. So I've lived that story. So, but
that's a good one.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, just me watching from the outside, and you know, we've been a sponsor. We've kind of been involved. I just believe the class has gone too fast. And I don't know the answer to slow it down, but I believe somehow the class needs to be slowed down a little, in my opinion, because the way it's progressing, it's gaining so much every year that you watch a lot of classes. When you gain as much ET every year, it's hard to maintain, to keep that class going. You know, the classes, if you love or hate Pro Mod, if you look at Pro Mod, it's been pretty flat. I mean, you know, as far as if you look at the hundreds per year, it's been pretty flat. And I think that's why you're seeing some growth in that pretty strong right now. Is that it's been a fairly, how do you put it, stable, flat ET class. Now, every once in a while, somebody throw a home run in here and there, of course. But yeah, that, and I don't know the answer how, but in my opinion, I think that there's got to be a way to kind of pull it back a little bit. And maybe you can attract some of your guys from your top sportsman or what have you, or have a guy with a steel roof and quarter car that can come out and not necessarily run up top, but you got to keep those guys within a 10th, you know, so in my opinion. So
Chris, do you have any more questions specifically for Mark, or I can bring Mr. Liberty back on?
One thing I'd like to ask you about quickly, Mark, on the let's say a 400 open transmission and converter versus say a lockup. What do you normally see for performance gain and something that's got a pretty well worked out open converter versus say a lockup converter, because you are also a converter man?
Yeah, and if we get it right, there's no advantage in a 3-speed combo. Okay. I don't believe. If I get the converter right, I can run with it or outrun a lockup combo in that particular class. Now, when we start talking more than 3 speeds, that's a different story. Then the lockups becomes a little more feasible. And in my opinion, you know, if you take a lockup in a multiple speed, like 4 to 5 speeds, it's probably 200s over a 3-speed non-lockup combo. So
one other thing I'd like to ask you is, in our category, we don't have the ability to use any kind of electric fluid manipulation on the transmission. So it's done, you know, in various ways mechanically. Do you think that is added to the cost, or do you think it would lower the cost by just allowing us to do it with electronic control?
Oh, it would save it'd save a shitload of money, because the way we have to do it now is super expensive to do it. We still do it. It still accomplishes the exact same thing. It just costs 10 times as much to do it.
And that's always one of those things I wonder about in the rules, because if you give a well-funded, well-thought-out team a rule book, they're going to figure out a way to do it, especially if they have the financing to do it. And sometimes some of these rules, I almost think that cost us more money, you know, to work around the rule rather than to just open it up a little bit and keep it less expensive, let's say.
Yeah, you're right. It's a double-edged sword. So
I did look at the rule book today, and there's nothing in there about dump solenoids or fluid manipulation anymore.
Oh, it's gone. Okay, see, I wasn't aware it was gone. So
nor was I. They just let it trail.
And I thought, listen, guys, I thought I was retarded, so I called up Matt and I go, look at the rules. And he went and looked at the rules, and Matt goes, yeah, it doesn't say nothing about fluid manipulation.
I wonder when that went away. So
I'm sure they forgot to put it.
I can imagine why they wouldn't let us know.
Yeah,
right.
Well, that happens in a lot of rules. So,
it just got overtaken.
Yeah, Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know the answer to the whole thing. I mean, I just wish it could get back. I mean, it was a good class for me. Me and Chris have talked. We both benefited financially from the class. Our business has done well in those classes, but now, we were able to pump money back into it. We supported PDRA. We sponsored the class for a whole season. But then when the participation fell off, there's just, for a guy like me, if you got to look at a business to attract a business to come and support that, I have to be able to try, not guarantee, but try and gain potential customers. Okay. But when you bring that group so small that I'm not going to gain any potential, I don't have the ability to gain potential customers by supporting that class, I'm not going to support it, if that makes sense, because we just can't, as a business owner, and I'm sure Craig sponsors too, we can't just throw money into it. We do, obviously, if we're passionate about it, but at the end of the day, if it's a business decision, there has to be a payoff for us to get involved. So,
and that's why I think 632 is really attractive to maybe say a guy like Craig's company, because if this was NHRA Pro Stock, the market's already saturated. What is there to gain by sponsoring that? However, there's some guys that you can turn or attract, or rules that are moving around too much, in my opinion, but that you could draw some guys in. So supporting a class like ours has been paramount, hopefully, for his company as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, you get it. Yeah, that's it. Plus, it some of it is, if you're racing in it too, that gives you a little bit more, passion for it too. Like us with Pro Mod, we put a bunch in a Pro Mod because it's great for our business, but it's also part of our passion too. So.
Well, and then you can test those parts yourself rather than test them with customers, like you said earlier.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's one benefit for us, is be able to test our own products. So, but so like I said, I don't know the answer. I hope it works out. I hope they can get the car counts up, because I love the class. I really do. It's a great class. So,
well, that's why we're all here, trying to rejuvenate the class somewhat. And we want to extend a thank you for your support, past and present.
Yeah, no, like I said, I would love to be involved if we could get this thing steered and get it headed back up. I think that's a plus for everybody. So,
well, we do have
back on the screen. I'm assuming I can talk and you can hear me. So, hi, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing, Craig?
Not too bad. I appreciate the converter you got me this year. It helped out a bunch. It was a nice addition to our performance package. So, thank you.
Yeah, good. No, yeah, we love working with people like you. We love that. Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's good to have you guys involved. Putting the money in, that really, I'm sure a lot of guys appreciate that. So, and like I said, hopefully, I don't know. I mean, obviously PDRA. I don't know. Are there any other avenues for 632? Has anybody talked? There other series, other places to go?
It sounds like IHRA is staying away from it. I don't know if it's a courtesy thing to PDRA. That's the rumor.
Yes.
So they're staying away from all nitro stuff. So that
kind
of hurts a little bit, but who knows how long that's going to be for.
Right now, what I had learned, excuse me, guys, what I had learned when we were in PRI was basically IHRA is leasing the track from VMP for 2 years, a 2-year lease.
Okay.
And in that 2-year lease, they cannot have Pro Nitrous cars, Pro Street, or Pro 632.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense. So,
well, it does, and then, usually when we'll leave PRI, it'll be like 2 or 3 people saying they're going to come. Well, this time I think it's 8 new people may come.
Wow.
To 632.
That would be nice.
4 of them are Mopar guys, believe it or not, wedge heads. And
which I have a Mopar 632 customer. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. So, you'll probably have 3 of his friends soon too.
Good. I hope so. Yeah.
And then another one was actually JC Beatty gave us what was his name?
One of his clients.
Yeah, and this guy was a top sportsman guy who cannot drive the stripe on the top end. So he basically says, I just want to drive it out the back and call it a day. That's Andrew Spurback. He supposedly is coming over to 632. And then Ed McLemore has 3 of those Ford packages coming over also.
Really? Okay. Well, that's good news. That's good to hear. So
so if we get a quarter of it, a half of it, I'll be happy. 2 cars would be good. Ed said he's got 3 customers coming with Fords. So, and then I know Calvin sold his car turnkey to, he didn't say the man's last name, but Billy. And I guess Cameron's going to be a new upcoming driver in that car. So that leaves that car staying. We're not losing that one.
Good.
And Chris, if I'm wrong, say I'm wrong. Brian Kloss is potentially putting a motor in the Ford to come stay in 632 with a Liberty.
So Brian bought the ex-Doug Nickel Haas Mustang, and he's making all of his best effort to come back out and run that with a clutch. So,
oh wow,
it'll be exciting as well. It's just kind of been a lifelong passion of his to drive a clutch-assisted car, and he just wants to come on and have fun. Which I think what more people should look at this as fun and not get so, maybe hung up over if there's one guy or not.
And we bumped into Vinny LaRosa, blast from the past.
Yeah, Vinny and the Duster. Yep.
Feather Duster will be making a re-debut in 2026.
That's good to hear. That was always a cool car to have. So
So it's Calvin just chimed in. It's Billy Gibson Motorsports who bought his car.
Excellent. So we hate to see Calvin go. Retain the car for sure.
Heck yeah, that's good. So so Craig, are you sponsor for the class this year?
No, we sponsored with PDRA, but a different class.
Okay, gotcha.
I never wanted to sponsor a class that I run. It just seems like a conflict of interest, and people think maybe there's favoritism with rules and things like that. So I try not to sponsor the class.
Smart man. So gotcha.
Hey, that's what I said when you came on as a sponsor. When this guy's sponsoring, he's racing a class. This is bad. This is not going to end well for all of us.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, but hey, you gotta I don't know. We sponsor a lot of pro mod stuff, and we stay out of the rule pack. When it comes to pro mod, we stay hands off. We just stay away. So we just show up, kind of deal. So.
Jason, I want to know how you get by on $10,000 or $15,000 worth of enhancements and improvements. By the way,
say, damn!
I can't believe you said that.
I got a really good engine builder.
He hits every truck stop on the way to the race. Trust me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, you must be because.
Well, no, listen. At the end of the day, I got a good sponsor, so that's probably all I got to pay out of my pocket.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Procom ZLS has been very good to 632 and Gladiator X Racing. Wayne Kacher is phenomenal as a sponsor for me and family. Actually, his daughter at the moment packs my parachutes, so that's a good thing. I think she wants to keep me around because they keep opening up. But I will. I do have an older Top Sportsman car from back in the late '90s that we're gonna refurb and put her in it. It's got a 598 in it, and she will bracket bash that car.
Nice.
I don't know if it's going to be this season or mid-season, but it's coming. We started working on the car already for her. So I mean,
hey guys, I got something.
Go ahead, Chris.
I got something I want to bring up just to kind of stir up some of the comments and maybe hear somebody's responses. As racers and heads-up racers, we know the expense, and we always get real hyped up on what the payout is, which is a double-edged sword, like Mark used earlier. I'm of the opinion, I want to see what some other people think of, let's try to add some money into the category, but let's try to pay out deeper rather than just pay out the top spot. I think paying out the top spot with more money, it's great for advertising, but you got to be careful what you wish for. You're going to start attracting maybe a crowd that you don't want. But if we could pay out deeper, or maybe a first-round loser goes home with some gas money or something like that, that's what I'd really like to see happen personally, to build this up into something bigger and keep guys coming back out trying to get their way in. Any thoughts?
Well, like Jeff had said, Holloway, it's probably something we would have to do internally through the group, because PDRA probably wouldn't want to change that format of it, right? So if it's something we did, we all threw in a couple dollars between 10, 12 cars, whatever it is, we could probably help pay back.
Yeah,
but I do agree with you.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move to, pay back, pull some off the top. Because here's the deal: it's cool to look at. We run the pro mod stuff with the huge purses and all that stuff. But what people don't know, that shit's split up between the racers well back,
Okay.
and your odds of winning that are so slim. I mean, it's cool to say we're running for that, but at the end of the day, I don't know. In my opinion, in any of the heads up racing currently, I think they need to take some off the top and move down through the ranks. In my opinion, I don't think it would hurt. It wouldn't have. It's not going to hurt car count ever. I don't believe it will ever hurt car count. Yeah. So.
Well,
I
Mark,
think
for
the majority of
your
people
odds
that
of winning it are greater than most of the cars out there. I will say.
Well,
Right.
yeah, but it's still pretty damn slim. So, but
and guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't pay attention to what I'm racing for because I go there to
agree.
race.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're at PDRA and then all of a sudden, we happen to get invited to the Snowbirds or the US Street Nationals. I don't know how much we're racing for. I just know how much it's costing me to get in the gate. So
Agree
I
that.
don't pay attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right there. You're right. But some of your guys, I mean, if you could, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, if you could entice some guys, it may not, to, at least say, hey, you might get something out of the deal, maybe, but there again, I don't know. Maybe those aren't the type of cars you want either. I don't, like I said, it's tough to say on that. So
I'm just glad we're
I
back.
do feel so. I'm sorry, Chris. I do feel that in the IHRA thing, I'm stuck on both sides because my business is offshore boats, and also my fun time is obviously PDRA. So this whole debacle that's going on with this is like really messed my life up for a short moment, and sometimes I'm a bumbling idiot over it because I don't know what to do business wise, and I don't got a place to race and all this stuff going on. But I watched Daryl came into Key West, which is an offshore, very big series in Key West, and he threw 500,000 at it, 250 to win, and the other 250 was for Leah and her team to get them in situated and pay for all kinds of stuff and blah blah blah. So he threw 250,000 at it. You saw boats that came out that had more dust on them than anything, and the breakage, because the guy's train of thought was, well, I'm going to take my boat out. I haven't used it in 5 years, 10 years. I'm going to knock the dust off this thing and we're going to go race. Well, they became more of a problem because they're trying to make that 250, trying to win it. Shit's falling off. There's accidents after accidents because steering lines are breaking, prop shafts are breaking, props are falling off. So it's just one big thing. And I kind of noticed that with some of the heads up stuff, that's big dollar money in the lower end, not the pro mod stuff, but the lower end. So we'll say, like, I pick on this class constantly lately, little gangsters.
Yep.
We all sat home, the 550 class, top sportsman, 632 sat home because we had to have little gangsters. So we have, 70 cars there. Half of them don't even have paint on them.
Oh,
they're not anything anybody wants to watch. And I felt bad for the 550 cars because they can run 530, but they didn't get invited, so they don't get to go.
Right.
But you watch the most of the carnage during that whole weekend or the day was those 550, the 530 little gangsters. And I think the big dollar number kind of ruins it, so to speak, for the good racer, the guy that's putting the time in, got a quality car, got a quality piece. He's up on top of all this stuff, and he just wants to race. So I'm not a big fan of the big payout numbers. I won't chase a payout. It doesn't just right. Never have and I never will. Not just that, but everybody. That's just my mentality. I'll race shopping carts against, Crag or Mark in the middle of Walmart parking lot, for $5. I'm that guy.
Well,
yeah. I'm your Huckleberry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's how we look. I've done it for so long that, the payout. Like I'm like you, the payouts. I never even think about the payout. It's just if you get it, great. But and I've been fortunate to win a bunch of the big ones, but I never went into them thinking that I got to win this or hey, I got a shot at winning this. You just go in and put your head down and do your thing. So, but
no,
so.
So, Craig, you're probably on a limited schedule now since we took the 2 Michigan races and an Ohio race away from you.
Yeah, that hurt. But so we'll see what really happens. We really need to concentrate on business. We've got, for our race car, Mark's touched on fluid manipulation. Our drive units are way behind his transmissions right now in fluid manipulation. So that's pretty much what we're concentrating on from a personal standpoint. Mark, if you got any input you want to help me with there, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I have a cure coming for that. I promise you, it's coming. So
speed it up a little. I heard about that about a year ago, and I'm kind of hoping it showed up. But
it's coming. Trust me, it's coming. It's like I said, we don't let nothing out till it's been like beat to death on our own.
So that's our goal this year, is to work on fluid manipulation. We got to catch up. We were #1 qualifier in Bristol this year, and there was a rained out. And when we came back for the rain date, there was one car that just picked up a bunch, like 400s. And the only thing I can picture is probably fluid manipulation that they came across. I really doubt it was a fresh motor back in Bristol, and before Bristol actually wasn't fresh enough in between. And all of a sudden, here we are 300s behind them instead of 100 in front of them. And that was a bunch. That was a huge number. And then later in the season, a couple more races later, or the very next race, there were 2 more automatics that passed us up a bunch. It's pretty logical. We need to work on our fluid manipulation that we don't have.
Right.
So we'll get it.
Yeah, and that's where all the big gains from. We made a lot of strides in 2025 with that. So
yeah. So we'll get it. We'll be there. So the only reason we may travel down, and we have to, I mean, we want to support PDRA unquestionably. How many of the races we can go to, I don't know, but we really need to get the car performing better. And we think there is a good 300 to 400s for us to gain there. And if we pick up 3 to 4, we go from the bottom half of the field, possibly right to the top of the field.
Absolutely.
We don't have it, so we're going to get it.
Okay.
I think I mentioned Nicole with her degree. We're going to try to put that thing to work and see what she learned.
Chris, you got anything else?
Patrick Patterson, are we going to see you out in 2026?
Hey, yes. The answer is yes. The short answer
I'm
yes.
gonna put James on the spot. He'll provide transport. He's a lot lizard and hits all the truck stops on the way up, so you can hop in and hitchhike with him.
All right. Yeah, there's still a lot to do with the Public Guinea Camaro. We still got to get the engine running. A lot of fine tuning and testing to hit the track. So
98 days.
Like there's going to be a lot of cars coming in for the first race. I hope Liberty's there beating us up. Us automatic guys. Shifting gears, be awesome. Gentlemen, do y'all have anything else for anybody?
Let's not just rely on new cars coming in. Let's try to get some of the old cars to come back out.
All of them. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
So
there's probably 4 or 5 of them that are out there that are sitting that people don't think they're competitive.
No, I got a list. I'm gonna start putting it out there here soon.
Gentlemen,
I don't know. I'm lost, you guys. Sorry. So,
gentlemen, I just want to thank you for your time joining us tonight.
Yep.
Greatly appreciate it. I know your time is extremely valuable. You could be re-engineering some fluid dynamics or whatever at this time, but you spent your time with us, and we greatly appreciate it and value it. We wish you a very merry and happy holidays. This will be our last show for the year of 2025. Our next show will be January 7th of 2026. Wednesdays just happen to be the holidays. So with that, we thank you and wish you all a merry and happy holidays.
all right. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, everyone. See you all next year.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
talking to you guys.
Thank
See
you.
ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.